Hi, this is Melanie for Pardesi Reviews. I'm here to do a review of Maari 2, starring Dhanush and Sai Pallavi. This film came out in theaters at the end of December, but like every other movie in the world, came out in the theaters that same week. And I just didn't have a chance to catch this when it was in theaters. It's now playing on Amazon Prime in the United States. I don't know, I assume it's also available on Amazon in India. And so I finally caught up with the film, mostly because the song Rowdy Baby is a viral sensation, and justifiably so, because it is one of the highlights of the entire movie. It is such a fun song sequence. And I know Sai Pallavi, if you're not familiar with her, because I think this is her first Tamil film, I know her from the Malayalam cinema. She did a film called Premam with Niman Pauly, which was fantastic, and she became a sensation. And then she did a movie in the Telugu industry with Varun Tej called Fida, and she had a great dance number in Fida. I thought, well, you know, Dhanush is such a good dancer, but man, Sai Pallavi really matches him in this dance number. It's fantastic. She's fantastic in it. They have all this chemistry. It's such a catchy song. So anyway, I kept hearing this song. I'm like, all right, I just need to watch this movie already. I didn't mention it, but I did watch the first Maari film. I meant to do like a review together, but I have seen the first Maari, and I know, you know, it was kind of a mixed bag kind of a movie. Dhanush, of course, was awesome, and this character of Maari, who kind of has a heart of gold, but he's a hooligan, he's ahead of his gang, and he just has this sort of swagger about him. The first movie had Kajal Agarwal, and it did not end with a romantic happily ever after. So when Dhanush's character is coming into this second movie, well, I mean, it opens with more of the gangster kind of politics stuff. And my husband walked in and he's like, is he actually having a cake to celebrate his 101st death attempt? I'm like, yeah. So, I mean, that was pretty crazy and pretty funny. But basically, I really enjoyed the first half, because they'd set up Dhanush's character, Maari, is wary of love, wary of affection, and we know they kind of go through some of the history, flashbacking for us, of the first film, hitting some of the highlights again so that we kind of remember. And then we have this Sai Pallavi character who's an auto driver, and she just has this irrepressible personality, and she comes up to him and she just has such a crush on him. And she's not shy and retiring. That's what I love. She just comes up to him and she's just constantly expressing her affection. And, you know, won't you pay me some attention kind of thing. Now, if you're not familiar with Sai Pallavi, she is known for going almost completely natural in her movies. In fact, in her mom, she had acne scars. She has that redness to her cheeks, but her personality, her talent of acting, it just shines through. Now, whoever did the makeup or lighting or whatever on her in this film, I felt like you couldn't see acne stars, but she had this natural rosy glow to her cheeks, and she just looked fantastic, but she also looked very natural. She did not look like the normal made up heavy lipstick kind of actress look. She looked like herself, very natural, which very much fit the character. Every time she and Dhanush were on screen together, I absolutely loved it. I loved the chemistry. I loved the way she teased him. I loved the way she kind of rocked him back on her heels, and then he gave it back again, because teasing her, he just kept teasing her until this climactic moment happens at the interval point, and then their relationship really changes. Okay, this movie has been out for 2 months. I'm going to do a spoiler section at the end of this video, because I want to talk about some things, especially what happens in the second half. But anyway, the first half, the setup of their whole relationship with each other, absolutely adored it. That was my favorite thing about the movie. So our villain this time is played by Tovino Thomas. And again, if you're not familiar with him, I know him from the Malayalam industry. And he's mostly, I think of him not playing a tough guy, not playing a villain. His normal role is more of a romantic kind of a role, you know, a real more sweet character. So to me, when I'm seeing him, I'm like, wait, what? You know, that was kind of my reaction. And not only that, they styled him to look like Jason Momoa, like the you know, the guy from Game of Thrones and Aquaman, like with the dreadlocks and the whole thing and the little tooth and the okay. I love Tovino Thomas. I do think he's a very fine actor, especially if you've never seen Melanie. Exceptional film. However, here I felt like sometimes he was trying a little too hard to be evil. However, the writers have given him, the writer director has given him a pretty decent backstory and a reason why he's going after Maari. And I liked that whole setup. I didn't mind the flashbacks. I thought mostly he was really good at just certain scenes. I just felt like, I mean, some of it was not just him, it was the way they had styled him. You know, he has the tattoo that says death. They're having him call himself Thanatos, the Greek god of death. I mean, just so many piled on symbolisms and whatever. And he's, you know, carved kill Maari in his prison cell and all, you know, it was really over the top. But this is an action comedy masala film, so I'm just going with it. Some things happen to his character. He changes dramatically in the second half, and that was part of what I didn't completely buy, the change in his character. But it was very fun for me to see an actor I'm familiar with from another industry play something I've never seen him do, play a villain. Very fun. And I thought the scenes that he had with Dhanush, where he was supposed to be menacing, were very good. I really love the first half. I didn't like the second half quite as much, but it's still, especially when you're talking about just watching something that's already on a streaming service that you're paying for, totally worth a watch, especially for the Rowdy Baby song. The other songs are good, but nothing can match that one. There is another, you know, Maari song with a great big crowd dance, and I was absolutely laughing. There was a whole group of kids dressed up just like Maari with the chains, with the glasses, the whole thing. Super fun. Love that as well. The director of this film is Balaji Mohan, who did the first film in 2015. And I don't think he has done another film in between the two films. I think he did a television series. These are the only two films of this director that I have ever seen. I think they're good, they're fun, but could have used a little bit more work on the script. Another key character actor in the film is Krishna, who plays Kalai, a son of a character from the first film. And he's a very good friend of Maari's. Varalaxmi plays a collector character. And she had kind of the same styling that she had in Sarkar. So she didn't have a ton to do in the film, but I thought, you know, it was nice that there was another female supporting character in the film that wasn't just for comedy, that was there with an actual role. Now, looking at her Wikipedia page, she has, I think, like half a dozen other films coming out in 2019 that she's in filming or that are in production. So I'm hoping to see her in another film where she's not just playing a supporting role. She seems to be extremely talented, so I'm hoping one of these other films she's going to get more of a lead, because I really do like her as an actress. Now, Dhanush, I can't even imagine anyone else playing the role of Maari. He just has such an energy about him in this film, and of course he's such a good dancer. And I don't know, I just love the sense of fun, you know, the whole thing of popping the kids' balloons. It's like, in a way, he has a good heart, but he's also so mischievous. So, which is why, without spoiling it, I will just say he almost goes through a personality transplant in this after the interval point in the second half of the film. And while I really enjoyed watching some of the romantic scenes that were in the second half, I almost felt like they took it too far in a certain direction. And then again, too far the other way going back at the very end. I'll explain more of what I mean in the spoiler section. But if you haven't seen the film, I still leave it. It's worth a watch, especially on streaming. Just has a lot of fun to it. And it's just to see Sai Pallavi and Dhanush together is worth it. I absolutely loved her pairing with Dhanush. I hope they do another film together. I'm just so pleased for Sai Pallavi and where her career is going and how she's working in multiple industries. And I cannot wait to see what else she does next, because she's just going from height to height and I love it. Okay, so worth a watch. Please subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Okay, now I'm going to get into little spoilers. So I'm assuming the movie has been out for 2 months, but if you haven't seen it, please do go and watch it. Don't go through the spoilers. Okay, what bothered me is that I absolutely loved the fact that Sai Pallavi's character sacrificed herself and jumped in front of the bullet. I thought that was great, because for Dhanush's character, Maari, it was almost inconceivable for him, for someone to do something so selfless for him, because he at that point was kind of selfish and he couldn't imagine. Later in the film, he explains that he was hesitant to show affection because he didn't feel it was fair, because he didn't know how long he would be around. And Sai Pallavi generally is like, this is my life to live. Don't make those kind of decisions for me. Absolutely loved them together, but I'm wondering if most audiences felt like all of their time together and their romance and her pregnancy and all of that dragged the film on too long, because it was longer than 2 hours. I enjoyed those portions. However, he made such a dramatic change. Like, as I was thinking about it, I watched this last night and I've been thinking about it today. Would the Maari that was shown to us from the first film and the first half of the film, would he run away? Now, granted, he would take her to the hospital. But he says something like, I have no friends left. And that's not true. Now, granted, some of the men that were coming after him were people he'd worked with before. But I just kept saying, would Maari run away and hide? Which is what the director has him do for 8 years, just so that we have this adorable kid that's a mini Maari. I thoroughly enjoyed that he had a son who was just as mischievous and troublemaker as he was, that was just desserts. The fact that we had to have an 8-year gap where he had a personality transplant and was suddenly all mild-mannered and the Dhanush that we've seen in other films, okay? And it was such a radical change. I don't know if I completely bought it. Like, what did he do for a living? They didn't even really explore that. Did he drive the auto rickshaw? What did he do? And not that I don't believe that he wouldn't have raised this kid as a single father and have been worried about his safety. I don't know. I felt like at the moment that he ran away, that's kind of where the film had me going, what? I mean, I enjoyed those scenes for what they were, but to me, after the fact, I'm like, does this make logical sense? And also, for the Tovino Thomas, I can understand him wanting to have the sweetest revenge, whatever, like just playing this cat and mouse game. But then, would you give it up for 8 years? And did it make sense for that character, who was so psychotic, to go into politics like that? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. That also just seemed like such a transformation when you have somebody who is so kind of out of control to, I don't know. I guess 8 years had passed, but it just seemed kind of weird. Like, the ending scenes were good, except for the fact that I would have liked to see Maari's character. Like, he had the full beard. He was like Dhanush from another movie, right? Mild-mannered Dhanush. And then, like, he shaved his beard to look exactly like Maari to show up again. Did he have to do that and put the same kind? Like, how about a blend of, I've still got the sass, but I'm a grown-up? I don't know. Like, if you're going to have that whole section where he's gone for 8 years and he's a changed man, then it was like when he did come back to Chennai and he's confronting Tovino Thomas's character, he's completely back to the other character, and there's not even a blending of the two. Okay, but it was still super fun, and it was just one of those things where I guess you just have to suspend your disbelief and go with it. But to me, the highlight was Sai Pallavi and Dhanush, especially Rowdy Baby. Awesome. Let me know what you thought about this movie in the comments below. I know it got kind of mixed reviews as well in the newspapers at the time that it came out. But overall, I think it's above average and definitely worth seeing. But love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please do subscribe here to Pardesi Reviews. If you hit the bell, then you will get a notification whenever I put out a new video, film review, or trailer reaction. Follow me on Twitter at PardesiYT, and do please like and share this video.